If you are someone who is interested in retiring healthy, I've got something for you. I've got a new book called Retire Healthy. You can check it out at beginwithin.fit/retire. RETIRE. Beginwithin.fit/retire. You can download a free copy of that ebook and make sure that you're checking the 6 boxes that you need to check in order to make sure that you are all set to retire healthy. And it is never, ever too late to give some attention to those 6 areas that I discuss in the book, as well as studies and research to back up the reasons why each of those 6 areas is critical for you to give some attention to in order to have a healthy retirement. And even if you're nowhere close, like me, seems like a long ways off, it's never too soon to get started. So go over to beginwithin.fit/retire, get your copy of that ebook right there. Now, today on the show, speaking of 6 things, I am going to focus with you on 6 questions that your brain is designed to answer. I remember coming across this when I was doing some coach training, and it was research that linguists had done into all these different languages across time. What they found was every language essentially answered 6 questions in the way that it was formatted. Language, all the speaking that we do, everything that we do, including the thoughts that we think, really designed to answer just 6 questions. I thought it was such an interesting way to look at language, to look at the way the brain works. And of course, in our coach training, we used then those 6 questions thoroughly. Those were the ones that were constantly on our minds as we were helping our clients to move forward from wherever they were with whatever challenge that they were facing. Of course, those 6 questions work super well when it comes to fitness. What I want to introduce you to today is a concept in which we're going to apply those 6 questions to nutrition. 6 questions that you can, and I think you should, be answering with your nutrition. 6 things that you want to ask and answer every time you eat, if possible. And of course, once we put some habits in place, once we build those habits, put them in place, well, then we're all set. Once we've answered it, we are good to go. I know what you're wondering. What are the 6 questions, Nate? What are they? What are they? Well, that's one of them right there. Your question, what? What are they? I'm going to tell you what they are. First of all, that's number 1, what? Okay. Number 2, where? Number 3, when? Number 4, how? 5, why? And number 6, who? Those are the 6 questions that it seems, right? And of course, I can't be dogmatic here because I don't have all the insight that there is into the human brain by any means. But those are the 6 questions that it seems our brains are programmed. They are designed. They are ready to answer at any given time. And they're searching. Our brains are looking for those answers. So let's dive in together. Let's take a look at those 6 questions as they relate to nutrition, okay? As they relate to the process of eating. And I think before we dive in fully to going through each of those and the additional questions that I want to encourage you to think about as you are looking at your own nutrition, because I don't believe there's a one-size-fits-all cookie cutter approach to dieting, or you got to eat this way and this time, all this. I don't believe in that. But I do think that by giving attention to these 6 areas, you can make sure that you are moving toward healthier, becoming a healthier version of the person that you are. becoming more like the person you want to be in the field of health. But let's talk about this first. What are we fighting against as we answer these 6 questions? I want to address that just briefly. I think the biggest thing that we want to try to avoid when it comes to nutrition is the idea of just saying whatever, right? Whatever. And maybe to break that down further, the concept might be this. The thing that we're trying to avoid is having an inclination to eat and then eating whatever, doing whatever. I feel like eating, so I do it. And that's it. I think in our culture, the world that we live in, that's kind of the mode of operation that is the default, or could easily be the default for a lot of us, is, hey, I feel hungry, I'm going to eat. I feel inclined to eat, so I'm going to do it. Whatever's in front of me, whatever's handy, whatever's quickest, whatever's easiest, whatever I feel like, whatever. That's what I'm going to do, right? So, in other words, these 6 questions are going to help you, they help me put some intention into our eating, into what's happening with the nutrition with which we're fueling our body, fueling our cells, fueling our brains, fueling our rest and recovery, muscle growth, all of this. Put some intention into it with these 6 questions, and we're fighting against that whatever mindset. I feel inclined to eat, so I'm just going to eat. Bottom line, that's it. That's all that matters. There's so much more to it, especially if we want to move in a healthier direction. You know this. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening to the Begin Within Health show. That's why I'm here as well. To put some intention, to begin within, to put some intention behind the process of improvement in the realm of health. So let's dive in. Here are the 6. And I'm going to start with the one that we already talked about. What? Let's start with that. Let's start with, what am I eating? And again, we're fighting against the, I'm going to eat whatever. Whatever I feel like, whatever's handy, whatever's closest, whatever's quickest, whatever tastes best, whatever, right? What am I eating? It's a straightforward question. Knowing what we are putting on the plate is a foundation to healthy eating. For example, am I choosing whole foods or more processed foods? That's a big one. Whole foods tend to be healthier. Our bodies tend to digest them better, tend to know what to do with whole foods. They come with all kinds of vitamins and nutrients and fiber ready for us to use, versus processed foods where lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber are stripped out of them, or other things are added to them that tend to make us less healthy. So that's just one question, right? What am I eating? Whole or processed foods? Am I having a snack? Am I having a nice square meal with all the elements of protein, veggies, healthy carbs, healthy fats? And the same might go for drinking, right? Am I drinking something that is going to align with my goals, right? We're going to get to that in a little bit. But what am I drinking? What is it going to be? Putting some intention into it instead of just grabbing the quickest, closest, best tasting thing. But the awareness of what sets the stage for healthier choices. And of course, that's a question we can ask just about as far in advance as we would like. And I recommend that you do. What am I going to eat? This is where we talk about planning and preparation. That helps us so much when the what is determined ahead of time. We're predetermining what we're going to eat by putting some planning into it, putting some thought into it, and then having it prepared, having it be the default option, the healthy option being the default option, because when I open my fridge, that's what I see. And it's easy to make a meal out of it. What am I going to be eating? Might be the best version of that question. for the sake of our health and our wellness now and into the future? That's question one. What? Question two, where? Is that important? Where am I eating? Absolutely, it is. Are you eating at the kitchen table? Are you eating on the couch in front of the TV? Are you eating at your desk, trying to continue to work while you eat? The environment that you eat in influences how much and how mindfully you eat. It influences our ability to notice the cues that our body gives us of feeling satisfied, not hungry anymore, getting full. We can do that when we have some focus as a result of the environment that we choose to eat in. And I think probably in this day and age, the most important thing when it comes to where is to ask this: what stress am I being exposed to or potentially being exposed to as I'm eating because of the environment that I'm eating in? Because stress is going to affect, well, of course, it affects everything, but it definitely affects digestion. We've talked about that here on the show before. And of course, it's going to influence what we feel like eating and how much we eat. So, what stressors am I exposed to? Do I love, and I've gotten into this habit at times where I love to go get my lunch and then I sit down on the couch and watch the news, catch up on the news. Well, how's that influencing our stress levels while we're eating? We're asking our body to rest and digest, but at the same time, maybe exposing it to things that are causing us to get into that flight, fight, freeze mode, the stress mode. What is my environment doing? Is it contributing to healthful eating or not? And it's such a beautiful thing to get into a situation where we have a consistent, calm place to eat. You know, they say this in terms of sleep, right? That we should view our bedroom like a sleep sanctuary. It's the thing, that's the thing we do when we go there. We're not watching TV, we're not on our phone, those kinds of things, because when we get into that environment, we're priming our brain and body to do the thing that we want it to do in that environment. We can do the same with eating. Find a nice, calm, consistent, stress free environment, and you can sit down consistently, regularly with that nice square meal of whole foods and digest well. Take your time, stress free eating. I know for me, our dining room is we have windows surrounding it on all sides, big windows, and I can look back at the yard, the backyard, and the field and trees beyond it while I'm eating. Oh, to me, that is the ultimate. Just to slow down, look outside, the birds on the feeder right outside the window, that kind of thing while I'm eating. What It's awesome, stress free. It's an opportunity to rest, refresh, and digest. So that's question number two. Where? Give some attention. Make it intentional. Choose the place where you eat because eating is so important for the health and the results that we want to get. All right, question three. When? When I'm eating. Let's just talk about when I'm eating. And this is going to be determined a lot by your schedule, by your preferences, by your body. But of course, timing. Timing can affect digestion. It can affect energy levels. And of course, the results that we want to get, health and weight management, everything else, right? So are we eating at regular intervals? Are we skipping meals? Are we snacking late at night? When am I eating is so important. Am I eating early in the day? Am I waiting to eat and having that breakfast, breaking the fast a little bit later? Is that how my body works best for me? This might take a little bit of experimentation, but with just a little of intention, giving some attention to when, I think that we can very quickly identify times that we may be eating that are less healthy for us and give some attention to making some adjustments there. For example, Many people consume most of the food that they eat later in the day, sometimes very late in the day while they're watching TV, back in the environment, right? The where question. But give some attention to when. It's going to make a big difference in how you're feeling, in energy levels, and the results that you are getting. The when. And then, of course, I mentioned that spacing between meals. Am I giving myself an opportunity to digest what I had before and get back into an empty stomach, kind of fasting-ish state before I eat again? So we're talking about 2 or 3 hours between meals for most people. Try not to make rules. I know for myself, what currently is working great for me is I'm having 2 large meals and then a third small meal spaced throughout the day by that 2 or 3 hours. Nice square meals, all those elements that we talked about before: protein, veggies, carbs, healthy fats. That's question 3, the when. Gotta answer it. Gotta answer it. Put some intention into it and continue to have that experimental mindset, that self-experimentation mindset that we talked about here on the show before, to find what works best for you. All right, question 4. How? How am I eating? Let's move on to that. And this is about eating behaviors and habits. Habits, I almost said. I did say it now. Eating behaviors and habits. How am I eating? Am I eating slowly? Am I eating mindfully? Am I savoring each bite, or am I rushing through meals, just gulping down food, not chewing it thoroughly while I'm distracted? Again, how we eat can impact digestion. It can impact satisfaction, our overall health, our ability to listen to those cues, pay attention to our bodies as we're eating. The idea, most times, the goal is to slow down, make it into an event in life. Take it slow, chew thoroughly. I've heard GI docs that have said their patients come to them with the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. And the solution, and again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling you what I've heard. The solution for many is just to chew thoroughly, slow down when they're eating. Isn't that interesting? So make it into an event. The how we're eating is so important. That's question 4. All right, question 5. This is a big one. Big one for me. Question 5, why? The deeper questions here coming up. Why? Why am I eating? And this is where we're exploring our motivation. Why am I eating right now? Why am I turning to food? Why do I feel like food is the answer at this point in my day? Are we eating because we're hungry? Are we eating because we should be hungry? Because either we haven't eaten yet in a day, or it's been that 2 to 3 hour window from the last time that we ate. Why am I eating? Am I eating out of hunger? Or something else? Are there some emotions behind it? Is there stress behind it? Is there boredom behind it? Something uncomfortable in terms of emotion other than just the feelings of hunger in my stomach? Is there a different why behind my inclination to turn to food right now? Understanding your why can help address unhealthy patterns and a better, healthier relationship with food. Just slowing down on a regular basis before we eat and ask why. And I'm going to say this, you got zero judgment from me. I mean, there are definitely times when I know I'm excited about something that happened. I'm celebrating, and in this moment, I feel like eating. And sometimes I do. But I think that it's great to slow down and answer that question. Great to slow down and answer the question. Is that what's going on here? Or did I have a super stressful day and I feel inclined to eat this or that right now and I'm going to do it? No judgment here. I'll just say slow down and understand the reason why. What a great question to ask. And of course, if the answer is, I haven't eaten yet today, this is my time to get my eating going, great. I haven't eaten in about 3 hours. I'm hungry and I'm ready to go. Great. Had a great workout. I'm ready for my post-workout meal. Great. So just cluing in on why. That's question 5. All right, we made it. Made it to the last question. Question number 6. Who? And of course, who can be answered really simply with who else is eating with me? That sometimes can be a great one. We've talked about the benefits of that here on the show. Breaking bread with others is a great way to connect with them, an awesome way to enjoy a meal. Who else is with me? But what I want you to think about today is who is this person eating? Who am I in this moment? Am I someone who's given into feelings of stress, feelings of pressure because of external circumstances, and now I'm someone who's using food to deal with those emotions? Hey, again, no judgment. If that's who you choose to be, that's your choice. If you continue to make that choice over and over and over again, at some point, you may regret it. You may want to make some changes. Who am I right now as I'm eating? Am I someone who's in control? Am I someone who looks like the person that I want to be? As I look back down at those other questions that we've answered. And who am I becoming as I'm eating this meal right now? Who am I becoming? I love that question. You know, that is my favorite question. It reminds me of that Dale Carnegie quote that I've shared with you, and I absolutely love. If you're not in the process of becoming the person you want to be, you're automatically engaged in becoming the person you don't want to be. Who am I becoming as I'm eating this meal? Ooh, right? Such a good question. It invites self-reflection on how the answers to all the questions that we already talked about, how they're shaping our identity, how they're shaping our well-being, how they're shaping our health. We could ask on top of that on top of that who question, who am I becoming, right? Am I becoming healthier? Yes or no? Am I becoming more energized? Yes or no? Am I becoming more mindful? Yes or no? Or am I becoming more sluggish? Am I becoming more disconnected? Slowing down and asking that question, recognizing it can guide you toward positive change. And again, planning and preparation based on the answer to that question can help so much. All right, we did it. We made it through 6. Thanks for joining me for the framework here. By answering those 6 questions, we can get a clearer understanding of our eating habits. We can make intentional, informed, healthy choices. And if you haven't popped over onto my website recently, beginwithin.fit, I invite you to go check it out. We just recently revamped it. There's some lists there of some of the programs that we have. You can also get the link right on the top of the page to the ebook that I mentioned at the outset. So hop over there, beginwithin.fit. You can also get the link to the podcast, show notes, other things that we mentioned here in the show. So get over there to beginwithin.fit. Thanks for keeping this podcast in the top 5% of all podcasts on planet Earth right now. My pleasure to continue to serve you. I love being here with you. Drop a comment, say hi. Please follow or subscribe to the show and share it with someone that you care about. I'll talk with you again soon. Until we see each other again or hear each other again, keep taking good care of yourself.